answer is number 8, because Kobe's the 8th greatest player ever, and he was never the best player in the world.
Okay, Nick. Let's talk about it.
I know people get mad at that take, but here's the problem, and the reason Kobe was never the best player in the world. Because once Kobe got great, call it 99, he wasn't great yet, but I'll give him 90. Once you started seeing flashes, from 99 until 2002, Shaquille O'Neal was the best player in the world.
Okay, so you're right. From 1999 to 2002, Shaq was the most dominant force in the game. 3 finals MVPs, 3 championships. Can't deny it. Not here to argue that. Let's talk about that Tim Duncan situation, though.
And then from 2003 until 2007, Tim Duncan was the best player in the world. You know how I know Tim Duncan was the best player in the world at that time? Because he won 3 championships in 5 years. He won 2 MVPs. He was the best player. He was the best player until that 48 special by LeBron in 2007. LeBron was the best player in the world from that moment until 2018.
Okay, Nick. You said Tim Duncan was the best player in the game from 2003 to 2007. So I don't understand. You said because of Finals MVPs, League MVPs, and stuff. But then you went on to say that LeBron James became the best player in the world after the 48-point special he put up against the Detroit Pistons. So at that point, what standard are we using, right? And then why are you not acknowledging Kobe's 2008 to 2010 run? Because from 2008 to 2010, Kobe Bryant went to 3 consecutive NBA Finals, Nick. Not only did Kobe go to 3 consecutive NBA Finals, Nick, but Kobe won League MVP in 2008. He won Finals MVP in 2009 and 2010, right? So I don't understand why you're disclosing that information. But not only did he do these things, Nick, in 2008, you said Tim Duncan was the best player in the game in 2007, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong down in the chat. If he didn't say that, correct me if I'm wrong. Then in 2008, if Kobe Bryant beat Tim Duncan in the Western Conference Finals, then why doesn't it go to Kobe Bryant being the best player in the game at that point, Nick? Because he had just beat Tim Duncan in 2008. In 2009, Nick, he played against Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic, who had just beat LeBron James in the Western Conference Finals. If going by your standards, why doesn't he go to Dwight Howard being the best player in the game at that point, Nick? See the inconsistencies I'm pointing at to your argument. And then in 2009, Kobe went on to beat the Orlando Magic for the NBA Finals. So if it transferred to Dwight, why don't it go back to Kobe at that point again, Nick? Right? In 2010, he also beat the Boston Celtics that had also went through LeBron James to make it to the NBA Finals. So your arguments and your statements, they just don't line up. The years don't line up. You're not pointing a clear timeline for me to understand what are you getting at and why are you disclosing these years? Because they have league MVPs in there for Kobe. They have finals MVPs in there for Kobe. Right? He also have a time where he beat Tim Duncan head to head in the Western Conference Finals. So I just don't get what's your point. What are you getting at? What motive of what narrative you're trying to push to make such a bold claim or such a bold statement to say he was never the best player in the game, right? And when he did play Tim Duncan, he averaged 22 points a game. Tim Duncan averaged 22 points a game. Kobe averaged 29 points a game when he played against Tim Duncan in the Western Conference Finals. So, what standard do you want to use, Nick? Because in my opinion, you're changing the standards depending on the player you're trying to push. You're trying to create a narrative. You're trying to push a narrative, but it's not lining up. It's not making sense to me. Um, because then they have other great games you could point at for other players that had good games those season. Does that mean they're the best player in the game at that point? I don't think it does. If Tim Duncan was the best player in the world because of championships and MVPs, LeBron James was the best player in the game because of individual greatness, individual dominancy. Why isn't Kobe the best player in the game because of both? Or maybe it's not that Kobe wasn't the best player in the game. Maybe it's just a narrative you want to push. And I'm out.